All right, everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. Your host Ron here, as I go over all the segments from WWE, WNBA, the Hurricanes, as well as the Dolphins. So let's jump right into it. All right, on WWE, as you know, we got the Crown Jewel, which take place on October 11th in Perth, Australia. And your lineups are Men's Crown Jewel Championship, Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, and that should be a good matchup right there because I'm looking for Cody Rhodes to take that belt from Seth Rollins, who cheated because he had the Money in the Bank and he started from Punk, and that hurted me to my heart. And then Seth Rollins like talking, Seth Rollins as good as he is, talking trash, and he could back it up. So that would be a good matchup between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and I can't wait to see that. The Women's Crown Jewel Championship is going to be a good one. Stephanie Bakir versus Tiffany Stratton. Ooh, that is supposed to be Jade Cargill versus Stephanie in the Crown Jewel, but Tiffany outbeat Jade as well as Naya. And Jay had to go head on and take care of a gash injury that was caused by Naya in that little three brawl matchup they had. But the Women's Crown Jewel Championship will be going Stephanie Valkyrie versus Tiffany Stratton. And on me, I got Stephanie on this thing here. I love Tiffany. I love Tiffany Time. But I think it's gonna be all out Stephanie Valkyrie as she take both belts, or she might have all three belts. Ooh, the Women's World Champion, Tiffany Stratton title, as well as the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Ooh, but that's gonna be a big matchup. Yes, yes, yes. In the Crown Jewel match, we got AJ Styles versus John Cena. Another good one. Another good matchup. As we know, John Cena is a beast, but I want to see how AJ Styles handle John Cena. So that'll be a good thing right there. So we can't wait to see. Now, as you already know, Oscar and Kyrie Sane versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. As you know, Io Sky used to be a part of the Kabuki Warriors. And Oscar say, you know what, the hell with this. I am tired of you. And she poisoned Io Sky in that matchup. As she talks, her, what are you doing? What are you doing? So Rhea Ripley them had to talk in the backstage, and you say, let's do this. Me and you against Oscar and Kyrie Sane. She said, I know Rhea Ripley said, I told Io Sky, I know their family too. Yeah, y'all come from the same country, Japan, but look what they did to you. Look what they did. And it is what it is. So I'm looking for Io Sky and Rhea Ripley to come and jump on top of the Oscar and Kyrie Sane, the AKA the Kabuki Warriors. Yes, I'm looking for them to come on top and dominate everything. Elsewhere into that there is you got Sami Zayn versus Solo Sequoia. That'll be a later on match, but boys lineup for the Crown Jewel is on point and off the chain. So coming up is my world WNBA, and as you know, the Aces and Fevers are going at it for the finals. Yes, they're going at it. So on Tuesday, September 30th, Aces, Las Vegas Aces, baby, stomped the Fever 107-98. Your top leaders. As you know, Aja Wilson is not having it. Number 22, that queen is a beast, and she is the real deal. And she be going to the All Star, and she be making the Hall of Fame, and she getting her ring. This woman is the real deal. This woman cannot be started averaging 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals. On Indiana, Sims had 27 points, 6 assists on October 3rd. Aces thumped it again. They thumped it, baby. Spanking Mercury 89-86. And just like I said, it was just too much aces in the first, second, third, and fourth quarter. Once again, my homegirl, Aja Wilson, 21 points, 10 rebounds. And you know the bench stepped up. They say Wilson, our team leader, who won the MVP, kudos to you. Um, we can't let you run. You can't run you out. So the bench stepped up and said, "Let's dump this." Yes, and on the Phoenix side, it's Thomas who had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, but it just wasn't enough to overthrow the Aces, who won by 3 points, 89-86. If you cannot shut down Ajay Wilson or get down into that paint, stop her and them boards, it's all day. The point guard's gonna be feeding on the ball because they know they're the powerhouse. They cannot be stopped, especially Miss Wilson. She cannot be stopped because she is a damn beast. Sunday, October 5th, again. Who's stopping the Aces as they ran out over Mercury 91-78? And it was just too much. In the third quarter, the Aces outscored them 30-24. In the second quarter, they outscored them 22-10. Now, in the first quarter, Mercury outscored them 27-24. And in the fourth, but in those two quarters, the second quarter and the third quarter, it was just too much Aces. And they just could not be stopped. Young, it's not no more Ajay Wilson, it's Young, who had 32 points, 8 rebounds. And on Phoenix side, you had Sabali, 22 points, 9 rebounds. But it was just not enough for the Mercury as the Aces ran out over them 91-78. Alrighty, switching lanes. We finna go down to the Hurricanes. And they played damn good. They played damn good. It was going to be a strong game. A strong game. I ain't expect Florida State to lay down. But I have an issue with Miami Canes defense. Miami Hurricanes defense. They defense gave up too much points. In the first quarter, the defense held them to 3, held them in check. Florida State defense just could not stop them. Miami scored a touchdown on the first drive, second drive, in the third quarter. They scored 14 points. Now here's the issue I have. This is when Florida State defense woke up. In the fourth quarter, they held Miami scoreless. And Florida State went head on and put up 19 points in that game. But the Hurricanes beat them 28-22. But Carson Beck did his thing, but I wish they could have done more. I mean, he had 20 or 27 for 241 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's damn near perfect. I mean, it could have been longer than that, but for some reason, Florida State defense woke up and they just started throwing some heavy miscues to confuse Beck and trying to deliver that ball down the field. The running game, I was very disappointed with the running game because the running game carried the ball 32 times for 97 yards. And of course, the top performers was Fletcher, who had carried the ball 12 times for 40 yards. No TDs on the running game. No touchdowns whatsoever. But Florida State was holding it down. But our defense just gave up too many yards. I mean, they gave up 38 carries for 132 yards on the ground and 272 yards in the air. That defense, and one thing about Castellanos, he said, hey, he got into his rhythm, he settled down. The defense played damn good, held them to 3 points in the first half. And then in the second half, it just Florida State offense coordinators and defense said, hey, we need to wake up and shut this offense down, which they did because they shut them down in the second quarter. In the second half, which was the fourth quarter. But we're going to go to team stats. And just like I said, when you own defense, I mean, this is one reason why Miami Hurricanes had to step up because your next opponent is Louisville. And they watched those tapes of how the defense gave up so many damn points and yardage on the ground. Total yards, Florida State was in control. They had 404 yards to Hurricanes 338 yards in total offense. Florida State turned the ball over 3 times, which they capitalized on those 3 turnovers into turnovers in the points, which was good. But the question mark is the first downs. They could not shut down that running game, especially when you got a scrambling quarterback that just created havoc And the offensive line was just opening holes up for Florida State. Because when you have 28 first downs to Miami 14 first downs, I know Miami went down the field like that. They scored. But Florida State defense shut them out in the fourth quarter, in the second half, fourth quarter. They shut them out. Shut them out big time. And you need to understand that penalties, um, Florida State had 5 for 45, and Hurricanes had 13 for 114 yards and penalties. That's what kept the drive alive for Florida State. And possibly all those penalties was coming in the fourth quarter. Yes, I saw the game, and they were playing sloppy football in the fourth quarter because they sat down. They had a comfortable lead, 28-3, and they said, "Hey, we got this." See, when you lay down like that and you allow a team to creep up, now they could have lost the game because Florida State could have scored a touchdown and felt there with 29-28, edged them by 1 point, one measly point. But Hurricanes held on to edge it by 6 points, 28-22. But the thing that bothers me is how Florida State defense shut down a high powered offense of the Miami Hurricanes. And the time of possessions went towards the Hurricanes, right? 30 minutes, 26 seconds, to Florida State, 29 minutes and 34 seconds. But next up for the Hurricanes are Louisville. And we play in their backyard. We play in Louisville backyard, but just like I said, the offensive coordinators as well as the defensive coordinators are looking at the footage of Florida State. And right now, on offensive Louisville, they can score. They can put up some points, even though we 5-0. But still, that was a sloppy game because they could have edged them at least 42 to 15 or 20. That's the score I looked at. But to sit down here and tune in and you see 28-22, and then you sit down here and look in the fourth quarter, the boy was held scoreless, shut out. In the fourth quarter, the boys could not put up no points. And that's a big question mark. And Louisville will capitalize on that. They say, hey, this offense can be stopped and their defense can be manhandled by ball control, keeping their defense off the field and offense just running it down their throats. Running, play action passing, running, play action passing. That's what Louisville gonna come out. They're gonna come out with a strong balanced offense and defense, and how Miami Hurricanes gonna adjust to that. Now, saving the best for last are Miami Dolphins. Loss. Yes, I repeat, they lost to the Panthers 27-24. OMG. I mean, to look at Tua, Tua did his thing without Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill had a torn ACL. He's out for the year. And when he gets back healthy, I think he might be traded off because he's towards the end of his contract. And as he was healthy, he say in the hospital, I don't have to play for the Miami Dolphins anymore. It could be AI. But just like I said, I kind of was sad to hear that because I do follow Tyreek Hill on his Instagram. And, just like I said, I wish him a speedy recovery. But at the same time, that's the team you play for. Whether Tua was having issues with his offensive line, because instead of hitting Tyreek Hill on flies, the offensive coordinator started putting Tyreek Hill on slants. Tyreek is not a slant runner with his cheetah speed. Tyreek Hill runs it down 4.41. That man got blazing speed, and when he played with the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill stretched that field out. Mahomes aired it out, and we're talking about 80, 90-yard TDs on the first play. 60-yard TDs because that's how fast Tyreek Hill. But when he played for the Dolphins, and you saw that they converted him to slant routes, it was kind of a downfall for that. So like I said, Tua did his thing. He completed 27-36 for 256 yards and 3 TDs. Now last year, Tua completed that same amount for more yardage and more touchdowns. But the team is trying to gel together without Tyreek Hill. And I think they can do it. They can. The thing is, the defense. The defense gave up so many damn yards on the ground. And they had no answer for Rico Dwaddle. Rico Duado carried the ball for 23 times for 206 yards and a touchdown. And number 5 for the Panthers was thumping, baby. Now, if Carolina decided to go with the backfield with Chuddle and him, this is the beast. And right now he's out with the injury, but right now Rico Duado did his thing, and the Dolphins defense had no stop to it. And with Bryce Young, 2 touchdowns and interceptions, but he put up 198 yards on 19 completions on 30 attempts. That's almost 200 something yards in passing that the defense gave up. They played their thing. They got a couple of sacks and everything, but it just was not the Dolphins defense that I was just looking at last year and the year before. The running game sucked. The running game completely sucked. We ain't had no damn running game. And you got averaging carry of 14 yards. 14 carries for 19 yards. That's embarrassing. I mean, Gordon had 3 carries for -2. Two got in the mix with 1 carry for 5 yards because he had to scramble out the pocket. Because that defense for the Panthers did good, keeping the receivers in check. Kane, 10 carries for 16 yards. Really? Really? This is the kind of running attack we having? To me, that's a damn shame. A damn shame. And this is why they are at 1-4 now. They're away 3. 0-3. Damn shame. Damn shame. They lost on the road. They lost to Buffalo. And they lost to the Patriots. Wow. I mean, only thing that were really spontaneous was Jalen Waller, who had 6 receptions for 110 yards, a touchdown. Darren Waller, thank God he came back. He fixed his injury, but he can't blow the hip out again. So, but he is a beast. 1 carry for 5 yards. No, let me correct that. 5 receptions for 70 yards in the TD. Waller. And then we had Devon Chain, who has 6 receptions for 30 yards and 1 TD. And that's all our Kane is for is coming out the backfield. That's it. I mean, right now they struggling real bad because on offense, the offensive line didn't get it together. Y'all had all preseason as well as training camp to get it together to give to us some time to throw that ball downfield. It was a couple of missed throws. He overshot Waddle, almost got picked off, but it didn't. But just like I said, the defensive secondary got burnt, and there was no stopping that. I mean, McMillan had 6 receptions for 73 yards, 198 in the air on 19 receptions, 2 TDs. They gave 2 touchdowns in the air. Defense was getting burnt big time, and you can't be top seed in the league playing raggedy defense and raggedy offense. And this is one reason why I could say Tyreek Hill said what he had to say. I thank God I ain't playing for Miami Dolphins anymore, even though he got hurt. And I wish the cheetah didn't get hurt because he had so much energy to give. It's just that the offensive line was just not there for a tour in preseason because we was basically playing the second string and third string of quarterbacks, and the offensive line is not there in regular season. And you see it. I mean, Tua is scared of his dear life because he's scared someone's going to tear him up, make him have a concussion, and it is over. Just like I said, Tua did this thing with 256 yards and 3 touchdowns on 27 or 36. Kane, that's just pathetic on the running game. And the rushing, you had Rico Duado, 206 yards on 23 carries. A back scoring 206 yards. That's what the Dolphins did last year when we had the 2 backfield. We put up those numbers. Kane had about 80% to that offer of March threat. Sometimes it was bad in certain games. Sometimes it was up. But the same thing is, it is what it is. But the damn defenses need to start waking up. There was no pass. They was getting sacks, but just not enough. And total yards. This is when you know it was a defensive issue when they gave up 418 yards of total offense. Our defense gave up 418 yards of total offense. And the Carolina Panthers had the Dolphins in check to 248 yards. First downs. You know the Panthers in ball control when they had 26 first down to Miami 15 penalties. They were about neck and neck. Miami Dolphins had 9 penalties for 64 yards to Carolina 8 penalties for 46 yards. But first third down conversions were 5 of 13 to 5-11. So they were pretty neck and neck on that deal. Fourth down conversions, Panthers went for it and they converted 2 of 2. Dolphins went for it, they converted 1 of 1. Dolphins in the red zone 3 times, but converted twice. Panthers in the red zone 5 times, but converted 3. Time of possession go all the way to the Panthers. And you know they was on the ball control. And that running back, Dow Dwaddle, was wearing down that defense. One damn running back. One damn running back. Not 2, not 3, not 4. One damn running back. And the Dolphins defense could not slow him down. Time of possession was 31 minutes and 14 seconds on Panther side to the Dolphins, 28 minutes and 46 seconds. Pitiful. So everything just went towards the Carolina Panthers. Will McDonald's be here next year and his coaching staff? I don't know. Because like I said, Steve Ross did not build that stadium to come sit down in his own backyard and watch his team lose. He put that stadium for championship for his team to compete. And if the Dolphins not competing, God knows who. We was better off getting Shedeur Sanders. I know he could have done better than that shit, but Dolphins did, and they wound up losing. And that's the way it is. Alrighty. Thank y'all for tuning in to Let's Talk Sports with Ron. Of course, me, your host. And I'll be back with you next week. Peace.